He was relieved that the day was finally ending as he stood behind the counter as the final customers left the shop. He saw the child crouched over one of the store's tablets as he turned to scan the various electronic booths scattered across the area. He carefully maneuvered around the counter to approach him out of curiosity. He had no words for what he saw the youngster doing. Tyson was your average 22-year-old boy living in Houston, Texas. A lover of everything tech, he'd worked hard to earn a place at the University of Texas studying computer science. During his first and second years, Tyson made a name for himself as the boy who could fix any broken machine across campus. By the third year, he'd attracted the attention of even the professors, a feat that would change his life for good. As Tyson cleared his third year, the school invited him to attend one of the biggest technological expos in Brazil. He'd be flying alongside a select number of students, each with unique gifts such as him. Of course, Tyson agreed. A trip out of the US was something he'd always dreamed of. He had no idea what was waiting for him down below. The trip to Brazil was magnificent. The people, food, and culture took Tyson and his classmates by storm, pulling them into the best weekend they'd ever had. When the Tech Expo started the following week, Tyson was all but ready to experience more of what the country had to offer, but what he got wasn't what he expected. As part of their experience at the Tech Expo, the organizers awarded Tyson and his classmates a chance to work as electronics experts in a store in the city. The position came with paid time, although the responsibilities were negligible. The program focused on immersing international students in Brazil's tech scene, which Tyson found very interesting. This is where the life-altering incident would occur. Tyson and his classmates started their hours with fiery zeal. Alongside them were some students from Europe, Africa, and Asia, making the experience even more engaging. The first day came to a swift end. The experience was eye-opening, but Tyson noticed something that made his brows draw close as the second day started. Also, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these real-life stories every day. Now, back to the story. A boy no less than 10 years old stood before one of the tablets on display at the shop. He wasn't merely admiring the gadget but scrolling through it. Tyson didn't mind it since browsing through an electronic to test its potency before buying it was usual. But then the boy was too young to buy any of the electronics in the store by himself. The boy spent a few minutes on the tablet and walked away, but he showed up the next day, taking the same amount of time with the tablet before disappearing again. On the third day, Tyson's last day at the store, he didn't show up. Tyson had run through the tablet settings to see if the boy had tampered with anything, but the gadget was fine, so what was he doing? As the day neared evening, Tyson returned to his post behind the counter. He was convinced the boy wouldn't return that day, and the thought tore his mind apart. Customers began vacating the premises, but as Tyson got ready to call it a day, he looked up to find the boy using the tablet. Knowing this was his chance to get to the bottom of the mystery, Tyson rushed to him. He'd spent the last 2 days obsessing over what such a young boy could be doing in the store all by his lonesome. He tried to formulate theories that would put his mind at ease, but he had nothing to go on. Nothing about the situation made sense, and he thought he'd lose his mind if he didn't get to the bottom of it. Now that a chance had presented himself, Tyson would embrace it with open arms. He hurried to the boy, only slowing once he was near enough so he wouldn't spook him. As he got closer, he noted new parts about the boy he'd been too far to see. Everything he saw only made the situation more incomprehensible. Tyson noted the boy was writing on a book alongside scrolling a web page on the tablet. He was engrossed in the activity and barely noticed Tyson looming behind him. When Tyson tapped his shoulder, he whirled around, heaving as if he'd been woken from a deep sleep. What was he doing that he'd be so lost in it? Tyson gestured for him to hand over the tablet, and the boy did, taking a step back and holding his book and pen against his chest. Tyson ran his sight up and down the tablet, immediately realizing what the boy was doing. His lips parted and he looked at the boy who stood quietly before him with furrowed brows. "You were doing your homework here?" Tyson asked in his barely comprehensible Portuguese. The boy nodded, explaining that his school had given them a lot of work that needed internet research. Since he couldn't access the internet at home or in his neighborhood, he'd been coming to the store to spend at least 20 minutes researching. But that wasn't all. The boy revealed he'd been spending a lot of time commuting to the shop as he lived far. His homework was almost due and he was afraid he wouldn't finish it in time. Intrigued by everything unraveling before him, Tyson asked important questions. Where did the boy live that he made it here so late? The boy explained where he came from, and something became clear that very moment. The boy did indeed come from afar, trekking for miles across the bustling city to get to the shop. He'd explained that he didn't take the bus here or a taxi and was doing it all by foot, and that alone opened another can of worms that withered Tyson's insides. The thought of the boy crossing countless busy streets as he hurried to the shop made Tyson's anxiety shoot through the roof. He knew how unsafe cities were, especially for kids. This boy's issue was even more harrowing as he was making the trip to and from the shop, leaving the shop in the evening as Tyson and his team was closing up. This was a messy affair. Tyson's heart broke as he heard the boy's story. He had a little brother back home and imagined him crossing through the streets at odd hours so he could do his homework. The boy kept talking, and as his words continued to dig through Tyson, a realization washed over him. He had to do something to help, or this trip would have been for nothing. The main reason we have electronics in the world, computers, tablets, and smartphones, is we can make work easier, Tyson said, recalling the moment. We engage these machines because we need help. Life without them can feel suffocating, especially in this age where everything necessitates their usage. He would do something for the boy, leaving everyone at the store speechless. Smiling at the boy, Tyson asked him to follow him back to his station. He asked the young man how good he was with a tablet, to which the boy only grinned. Seeing himself in the boy, Tyson mirrored his grin with a bright smile. He looked at the tablet's make and price. It was apparent what he was about to do. Tyson had already decided to buy the boy the tablet, but before taking such a drastic step, he had a few hoops to jump through. He'd already taken care of the first, ensuring the boy could use the gadget, but as he looked through the machine, he realized he was about to make a grave mistake. Tyson checked the machine repeatedly to ensure that what he was staring at was factually correct, but everything before him was clear as day. The tablet was not only an ancient version of the ones in the market, but also ran on old software. As someone steeped in the best tech you could offer, Tyson couldn't let this pass over him. Checking his watch to ensure he still had time, he asked the boy to wait for him at the counter and rushed into the back offices to look for his supervisor. He found him, quickly explaining that he wanted to buy the latest version of the tablet if the shop had it in stock. The supervisor's answer would break his heart. The supervisor listened carefully before asking Tyson why he wanted to buy the tablet. Tyson came clean, explaining everything that had been happening for the week he'd been at the store. He pointed at the boy waiting for him and said he wouldn't leave Brazil until that boy got the help he needed. Nothing could have prepared him for the supervisor's answer. The supervisor told Tyson that such cases were common in their city. There could be a high chance this was a hoax by the boy who was scoping out the shop for some unsavory individuals looking to make a quick score. He explained a similar incident some years back, hoping Tyson would call off his quest, but of course none of it worked. Tyson had seen the boy's homework and felt his need to work on the tablet as the minutes counted. He'd seen how frantic he was, knowing the shop was about to close and he hadn't finished his homework. Tyson knew that feeling well. That need to have a computer to make everything easier made him start fixing them. As a kid, he'd found an old broken one at a yard sale that needed fixing and had to teach himself to bring it back to life. Tyson thanked the supervisor for his view but insisted he'd still be buying the tablet. But the supervisor informed him that even if the machine was available and the boy's story was true, the price tag on the tablet wasn't small. Tyson wasn't the most well-off kid in school, but he'd saved a few bucks from fixing computers all over campus. That money would finally find good use. "I was saving it for the new Gen Xbox or PlayStation, but that can wait," he shared. He told his supervisor that he had some cash on him, an amount that would help solve the boy's issue. Seeing how determined he was, the supervisor decided to hear him out. He would share a few things that would show Tyson how complicated the matter truly was. The supervisor told Tyson that although the shop had the latest version of the tablet in stock, the kid would still need a stable internet connection to operate it. Given the neighborhood he was from, this would be a big problem. But Tyson was still adamant, finally prompting the supervisor to show his true colors. "Fine," the supervisor said, and Tyson bought the tablet for the boy. But the supervisor chipped in to buy him a portable Wi-Fi router for a good internet connection. He also shared the story on social media, getting the attention of a tech company that stepped in to buy the boy years' worth of internet subscription while also starting an internet installation program in his neighborhood. Truly, one good deed will always bring forward another.